I'm Estelle Thomson, your mistress of radiance, and this is Walk With Me in Butterfly Alley, a Chic West podcast revival. This is a 10-minute audio series about living a meaningful, sparkly life. One walk, one idea, one story. In each 10 minutes mini episode, I'll share with you what I've been thinking about, what life is teaching me, and maybe a question for your own reflection. So grab a coffee, lace up your shoes, or simply settle in. Let's take a walk together, unfiltered. Welcome to Butterfly Alley. I feel nobody talks about losing friends in your 40s, maybe in your 30s too, maybe in your 20s, but I feel a lot of us have entanglements with like these friends that we've had contact with since high school. So we have this like history with them, this nostalgia with them, and then we kind of go our own ways, and there's something that like doesn't match anymore. And I've had a lot of women and happenings also in the circle where a lot of us, we kind of grow out of friendship, and there's really a quiet grief to that, like a sting. And it's happened for me as well. And I'm telling you, it's like heartbreak like no other. And I feel nobody is talking about this, the loneliness that you feel. And I want to speak about it, and I want to highlight like situations too that feel like really common. Yeah, I just don't think there's like a place where, well, and beside, my woman circle that we talk about it, I feel there's like no safety around it. And again, there's like this like crazy responsibility to like withhold this these friendships that like give us nothing. And just because perhaps we still want to please them or impress them, and we get to our 40s and we're like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, who am I trying to please, and who am I spending all this energy for? Which I think like it's a really beautiful, it's like the fuck it energy, like fuck it. Like who I think it's one of the greatest thing of getting older is like this. I'm not sure it's like a not caring energy, but it's being just exhausted. Being so exhausted that you're like, screw this, I'm done with this. And the clarity that getting old gives. And I think a lot about grief and clarity is, again, a dimension of grief. No one talks about how grief gives you so much clarity. When Tommy passed away, I was hit with such a beautiful, in feminine magic, we call it black fire, where everything that like really didn't matter got stripped away. It was so beautiful. And I remember there was like some kind of yoga drama during the time that like Tommy was in hospital, and there was like a split between the studios, and it was like a big gossip medley of tragedy. And I remember being in the midst of that and like seeing, I was like, this doesn't matter, guys. This doesn't matter. And not because I was like, there was like a bigger ego. It was literally like, guys, this doesn't matter. Are we healthy here? Like, do we have our health? Do it like, the basic, like, are we? And I think that's the gift also of getting older. It's like, wait, who am I? Why am I nurturing this relationship now? Like being caught in these cycles where like, I was the helper, or I'm like the therapy friend. Oh my God, so many times I've been the freaking therapy friend to someone. Like, this is not healthy. This is called actually codependency. And it's like feeling our worth through people needing us. And that is just not healthy. Like friends kind of lashing out at us and telling us that we're not good friends to them anymore. And we could be like better friend, like these kind of like attack on the image of our friendship. And I just also want to say, like, friendship hurts. Like those moments where there's like an entanglement that feels very toxic, it it hurts so deeply, right? And especially when the relationship has been part of our lives for such a long time, because it's like almost something we need to uphold. But also, like, I think we can get like out of this loop that we're in, this crazy loop also of like feeling guilty or something, like thinking we've done something wrong. But I would invite, through like any, if you're listening to this podcast and you have lost friends or being estranged, or a friendship kind of changing, evolving, I would just like invite you to look closer and become just curious about what's actually happening inside you. And that's really something I speak about on retreats, where it's like we're so quick to blame our friends, or I get that even with like women talking to me about their divorce, and like blaming your husband, like he used to tell me this or he would do this, and like really cruel things, like I'm not taking that away from you, but it's like, what would happen if you take these people like away from the equation? Like, it's not about them, it's actually about what's happening inside of us. If you love symbols, journaling, creativity, and a touch of everyday magic, you'll love exploring my Guide to a Magic Life Sacred Symbology Oracle deck, its coloring book of the same name, and my Artemis journal. I created each one to help you pause, reflect, and cultivate a deeper relationship with yourself and the world of magic around you. They are beautiful companions for your morning rituals, moon rituals, creative afternoons, and quiet moments of self discovery. You can find them all at estellethomson.com under shop. Now back to our walk. And if we set your friend or your ex reaction on the side, and we just bring the attention back to ourselves and have a bit more of self responsibility when it comes to that, one of the most helpful thing that I've learned is that another person's reaction is often, if not always, shaped by their own history, their own wound, their own fears, and their own entanglement. And we can listen to them with compassion without taking responsibility for carrying or resolving their emotion. Like, that's not up to us to tamper their emotion. Like, a mature person can do that on their own, can hold themselves within themselves. And I teach a lot about that on retreat, because my emblem for my retreat are creatress, which is the goddess Bhuvaneshwari. And Bhuvaneshwari, she holds the world inside her, and yet she is being held by the world as well. So she's able to do that on her own, and she creates new worlds for ourselves. If you want a visual imagery for Bhuvaneshwari, she's actually on all my business cards. I've made mesh bags out of her. She's in my Oracle deck of cards. So if you have that, like, pull her out right now and look what she's all about. And that emblem has created so much more of an embrace and less of like a defensiveness toward all the people that, like, if they react, to me, I now know it has nothing to do with me and everything to do with their own wound and how they process the world. That's created such a relief. And actually, like, this happened to me because the one time that I like really got to learn this was somebody sent me a really nasty email about my Tom Tinker Forever documentary. Can you imagine? Like, she was like, I think she said something like really, really nasty. Like, it feels like you're like putting yourself in the same category as like Mother Teresa and all. Like, you're calling yourself a visionary. Like, how dare you? Like, just like a belittling email. And it was so hurtful, right? Because the documentary came from such a pure place for me. I was sharing learning that had been all alchemized, like I had processed all of this. And then, I was putting myself out there, and it came such as a shock and an expectation. And then, obviously I've never replied to her, because I knew if I replied to her, it would be she was a stranger anyways, but it would be from a place of hurt. And I really had to I was like, what is this teaching me? What is this teaching me? And realizing that this person, like, her reaction had actually had nothing to do with me. And the documentary had activated something in her that it wasn't my responsibility. Like, and we learned this a lot at Guide too, where it's like, once we release our art into the world, like, it's not our responsibility anymore. Like, my job isn't to convince her that I'm a visionary, for example. So I was learning at that moment, and that was like 8, 9 years ago. I don't need, like, I feel if I had written her back, I would have fed, like, that's literally exactly what she wanted. So I needed to stop needing to prove that, like, I'm a good person and this is what I meant. And these are my credentials. And like, I, you know, it's just literally being like, I know who I am. I'm a good person. It's literally like self-recognizing yourself as a good person. I've done nothing wrong. In this whole like friendship mess, or this whole like, ex-husband, ex-wife, ex-partner mess, it's like knowing you've done nothing wrong. And my job isn't to convince someone else that, like, I'm a good friend. I don't, like, my actual friends, like, I don't need to convince them I'm a good friend. And my job is to respond from love rather than from the need to like prove my worth. Like, what am I doing? Like, what are we doing? So I don't have all the answers here, but, perhaps like just even being able to hold yourself in this like love and kindness embrace that is, for me, that's the emblem of the creatress. And keep being curious. Like, if you subtract this friend, or if you subtract like your ex out of the equation, like, what is it that's actually like showing you, and what is actually this relationship like, teaching you? I don't have a reflection question, but these are all things that are worth, asking as we, I think in my like midlife, I don't, I don't want to energize friendships that are like one-sided anymore. Like, I don't have time for that anymore. I want relationships that like that I leave feeling energized. I leave feeling nourished. I leave feeling like more of myself, right? So hopefully this will make you think. Love you so much. See you on the next walk. Bye.